We are one day into the new season, and we already have 3 brand new rumors that I want to break down with you next on the Unbearable Sports Podcast.
I'm going to take the North and never give it back.
So that's a good pick. You get the corner. I got to go bold, right? I got to go bold for this.
Yeah, she's got some nice.
Welcome back to the Unbearable Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Barron. Make sure to like and subscribe out there on YouTube. And make sure to ring that bell too, because on Wednesday, we will be live at 7:30 on YouTube to do the fan mock offseason. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I will be asking you, the fans, live on the show to determine what the Bears should do this offseason. I hope to see you there and just kind of get some of the ideas from you guys on what the Bears should be doing. So I can't wait for that. So make sure to put that into your calendars. But today, we got to break down all the news, rumors that have been buzzing around, and also kind of address a couple of the older rumors as well, just to kind of get that out there. I also have some of the audio as well from some of what was going on today too. So let's just get straight into it, shall we? Let's talk about the first piece. This is a little bit older, but this is Ian Rapoport talking about the historic haul, that he thinks that it's going to be a historic offer in order for the Bears to move off of that first pick. Now, this can go both ways, right? But I really do think it goes one way. It really does seem like the Bears are convinced that Caleb Williams will be that guy. But also, if they don't think that he's the guy, this is amazing puppetry by Ryan Poles. No matter what, the Bears should be showing that Caleb Williams is their guy no matter what, no matter what's going on, because all that does is rise the prize up. So to me, keep it going. Whether it's we want him or not, just keep doing it, because, ultimately we will know when the Bears ultimately draft. We will know on April 27th, I believe is the first day of the draft, on where exactly the Bears ultimately go. But a lot of people are saying that they're probably going to go with Caleb Williams at 1, but we'll talk a little bit more about some of the news that came out today. But the next piece was not Ian Rapoport, but Adam Schefter of ESPN bringing up the story that he has heard internally the Bears have flirted with the idea or discussed the idea of keeping both Justin Fields and Caleb Williams. And I'll tell you this to me is not big news. I know some people might blow this up, but to me, I feel that this is just Ryan Poles doing his due diligence. We know that he does that. We know he's going to go through every single scenario. That's why on this show, we try to go through every single potential scenario possible. And to me, yeah, they're going to be, because the way that he phrased it was that, I don't have the exact quote, but he was saying that they're going to be trying to entertain and see if this is a possibility and what that would look like. So to me, that's not great news. It's just more of something that we kind of expected Ryan Poles to be doing, because he is someone that is going to go through every scenario possible. But let's move in to today's news, the big headlines that were happening today. And it starts with Mr. Brad Biggs of the Chicago Tribune. He was on 670 The Score, and when he was out there, he said about the whole situation at quarterback, situation with the number 1 pick. This is Brad Biggs from the Chicago Tribune, who's very plugged in, and he said, it's no longer a question. And I wrote this coming out of the Senior Bowl. It's not a question of are they going to draft a quarterback or build around Justin Fields. The question now is, it's very clear. Which quarterback are they going to draft? The Fields thing has run its course, but you watch that, Super Bowl, and it's going to be difficult for them. It's difficult for all the teams that are looking for their own Patrick Mahomes to get that guy that's near that level. But you've got to have that player if you want annually chase a championship. Now, this is coming from Brad Biggs, like I mentioned, on 670 this morning, and it makes sense, right? And I know Biggs has been saying it, that the Bears are going to go with the quarterback at number 1, and it does. And this is the biggest thing that I want to say about Caleb Williams, is that you're chasing the ceiling, because you do see, and I agree with Biggs on this, people see what Patrick Mahomes was able to do. And that team that we just saw, the Kansas City team, was not great. When you really do look at it, It's not a great team. It's coached well. And yes, it has a Hall of Fame tight end, and it also has a very good center, but it's not built like San Francisco has so many All-Pros, and so that team is phenomenal, but it's that when can you get that quarterback that lifts all tides? Now, the flip side of that too is, well, you're talking about potentially the greatest to ever do it in a Patrick Mahomes. So yeah, that's a once-in-a-generation type of player. And that's where I think the big sell with Caleb Williams is that ceiling, because you want to hit that elite quarterback, not kind of get that, middling quarterback, that Kirk Cousins, who's good, but can he ever kind of take you over the hump? That's what the Bears are, I think, trying to pursue with Caleb Williams. But it really did seem, like he said in that quote, that to him, as an insider for the Bears, someone that is well plugged into the Bears, he was just saying that it's very clear that the question is more so, which quarterback are they going to be drafting? And we kind of know who that is, right? It's most likely Caleb Williams. But that was one of the big pieces today. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, though. Do you think that Ryan Poles is doing the king of all smoke screens and he's just rising the price up? Or do you think, it's just they're going Caleb Williams, right? Because that's what people are saying. Usually it's the simplest answer is usually the answer with some of these things. But let's talk about the next piece, which the next two made me smile, because if you're a fan of the show and you watch the show, we've already talked about this stuff. So I liked seeing that people were kind of doing stuff that we've already talked about on the show and we've already projected. Like I said, we like to go through every scenario. And this is actually mock offseason number 1. Chad Reuter of NFL.com just mocked the Bears getting Caleb Williams at number 1. No shocker there. But then at number 3, trading back up and picking Marvin Harrison at 3. And out there, Chad Reuter said the Patriots would swap first-round selections with Chicago this year and also give up a 2024 fourth-round pick and a conditional 2025 pick in the deal, similar to the trade between the Packers and Jets for Aaron Rodgers last year. And ultimately, the Bears trading up and then getting Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, let me know what you think of this trade down below, because I know we talked about it with our mock offseason, but is this something that you would want the Bears to pursue? Because we've talked about it before. Marvin Harrison Jr. is one of the best prospects that I've seen at the wide receiver position. He's really the most reliable. I think that he's going to be the next Justin Jefferson. I think he's in a tier of his own, in my opinion, for just the quality of player that he is. Super high floor, super high ceiling. That's where I think I like it. 99.9 receiving grade versus single coverage, which is one of my favorite stats out there, where he's just absolutely insane. I think what this does do is this kind of mimics that Texans model. And that's what I said when I proposed this in the first mock offseason, was you get the blue chip prospect. You get the elite wide receiver to pair with the quarterback that has this tremendous upside. Because personally, my take on Caleb Williams is that he is that high ceiling player. And I remember when I was watching him, I go, if you put him with good coaching and good players, this guy's going to be really good. But I also feel that he's someone that needs that in the first beginning stages of his career. Otherwise, I think he will struggle. And that, to me, put him with playmakers. Give him his best chance to succeed. And if you give him Marvin Harrison Jr., that is a player that, I think Malik Neighbors is really good. I think that Rome Odunze is also a very good player. But Marvin Harrison is a safe pick that if he doesn't hit, I've never heard someone say, you know what, I think Marvin Harrison's not that good, right? I think that Marvin Harrison Jr. is phenomenal. So to me, I like this. I think it's bold, but I think it's something that if they ended up doing, I'd be happy, right? That's a move that as a fan, I just love, because I just want to see good players. I want to buy jerseys. I want to do that. So to me, I'm all for it if they end up pulling that off. But let's talk about the next thing, right? Let's kind of flip the script. This is something that we've talked about twice on this show, so I'm not going to try and belabor it too much. But let's actually hear what was said on the Pat McAfee show today about Justin Fields.
We know that Pittsburgh's going to go out and get some type of quarterback, whether that's Ryan Tannehill, whether that's Russell Wilson, whether that's Justin Fields. Justin Fields, I know Mike Tomlin's a big fan of Justin Fields. We'll keep that in mind during the offseason in the coming weeks.
Wow.
So there'll be a decision that organization has to make in terms of the quarterback that they want to bring in. But they're not just going to leave it as Kenny Pickett, his starting job. Mike Tomlin made that very clear. So now it's which of these quarterbacks do they make a move for? Which one is somebody that they can go acquire and who fits into what they're willing to give up to either another team or to pay that player?
Mike Tomlin back. OC, Artie Smith. Yes. Him and Justin Fields. People are talking about him in Atlanta with Justin Fields. We'll be excited to see what it is in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and so you heard it there, right? And would Justin Fields go to the Steelers? And we talked about this, like I said before. So fans of the show, you've already heard this discussion that the pick number 20 does seem like the best landing spot if it is at that, if they are going to try and trade into the first round, because that's the farthest back, a playoff team that would be needy for a quarterback. Also, too, the Steelers, it's kind of put up or shut up at the quarterback position. They've invested in Kenny Pickett. Like, he was a high draft pick, and he's just not doing it. And Mitch Trubisky, they brought him in. They just cut him today. And I think that Mike Tomlin, he's just it's the same song and dance. They need someone to bring them over to the next level. And why not take a flyer? And that's the biggest thing, is that a team that wants to trade a lot for Justin Fields needs production now. Justin Fields can give you that production today, and he will give you a spark for the Steelers. Also, as a Justin Fields fan, I want to see him in a position to succeed. And I think that the Steelers do give him a good position to succeed, especially with Arthur Smith out there. And there was, like they said, talk about potentially Ryan Tannehill. I think that Justin Fields is better than Tannehill. He gives you a better chance. And that's where I like this idea. I like the idea of trading him, going to the Steelers. And this is a good chance for the Bears to get a first-round pick for Justin Fields. Now, maybe they trade a fourth-round pick as well and try and sweeten the pot a little bit. It just depends on the bidding war. But when you look at players that could be around that number 20 pick, it's pretty darn good, because the Bears could get a Brian Thomas Jr., a wide receiver. That's pretty good. Johnny Newton, the defensive tackle from Illinois, is actually projected to go 23rd. Probably arguably the best 3 technique in the draft as of right now. And you could get him with that 20th pick. But then too, Byron Murphy, another defensive tackle if the Bears wanted to go that route. But also too, we talk about this as well. That number 20 pick could be Jackson Powers Johnson, Bears' favorite center guard. And to me, I like it. I like it because I like it for Fields and I like it for the Bears. I hope that happens, because if all the rumors, all the discussions are true, and the Bears are just going to go with and the Bears ultimately just wind up getting they trade Justin Fields and get Caleb Williams, why not? I think that would be a pretty cool thing to see if they trade up and then they get that extra first. And then, knowing Ryan Poles, he'd probably trade back, get even more compensation for that. So to me, I'm a fan of this as well. And this is what we continue to say on this show. No matter what's going on, the Bears are in an exciting situation for the future, an exciting situation for what's going to happen next. Let me know down below, what are you hoping that ends up happening? I hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to like and subscribe. Like I said, live show on Wednesday. Can't wait to see you there at 7:30. And with that, Unbearable Sports Podcast, we are out.
Yeah, she's got some nice long hair and